Hi guys and welcome. Today we will dive into this fascinating world of Microsoft Copilot. We will build our very own AI Copilot. So, buckle up and let's get started. The first step to build a Copilot is going to Copilot Studio. And here is where all the magic happens. Okay, so now we have this button, New Copilot. The first step to build a Copilot is give it a name. In this exercise, we will build a Power Platform Copilot. This Copilot will give me definition about the Power Platform. We need to specify the language. Once we create the Copilot, we cannot change the language. And well, this is a very powerful function that we can add to our Copilot. If we enable the generative AI capabilities, we can add different data sources to the Copilot. That way the Copilot can act like a very intelligent assistant in order to generate the answers about questions we ask. For today's exercise, since this is the very first Copilot that we want to build, we will keep it simple and just hit create. Now, while the Copilot is doing all the magic behind the scenes, we can see this very funny and well, good animation. Well, the Copilot worked very fast, and now what we can see here is the user interface. We have the different Copilots, we have the topics, we have an overview about this Copilot, the actions, different entities that we can use in our Copilot. We have the analytics. Once we have our Copilot up and running, we can use that part just to take a look on the performance and the usage of the Copilot. The publish, well, once it's done, we need to publish it so the customers can use it. And we have the extend Microsoft Copilot. This will provide access to create conversational and AI plugins that can be used in our Copilot also, and the different settings. The settings help to manage items such as the channels the Copilot is deployed to, the Copilot authentication, and skills management. Well, it depends on the kind of the Copilot that we will be building. For this small exercise, we will build a very simple Copilot just to get ready with this tool and get to know all the things that we can start doing with Copilot. Now that we want to start building the Copilot, we need to add topics. The topics define how the customers interact with the Copilot, and they typically represent common issues, questions, or tasks that the customer maybe need assistance with. As you can see here, each Copilot has include some predefined topics, and there are two different topics: the lesson topics, the ones that we can see here, and the system topics. Lesson topics can help you to understand simple and complex ways of using the notes to create Copilot conversations, and the system are common use cases that can occur during the Copilot conversation. If we just take a look on these kind of topics that are lessons, we can see that, well, we see the trigger phrases for this topic, and once they get these phrases, it will display the message and then will display another message. The goal of this topic is just to give the store hours. If we go back and take a look on the system topics, they represent scenarios that customers are likely to encounter while they are interacting with the Copilot. Now that we know that we have two different kind of topics and we also have some pre-built, let's create our own topic. We have two options. One is from blank and one is create from the description with Copilot. It means that we will have Copilot assist us in creating the topic. We just need to provide some basic details, and then the Copilot will do its magic and will give us our topic created. Since we are learning here, we will use the from blank. Every topic must include some trigger phrases. The goal of our Copilot is to build a Copilot that gives us information about Power Platform. So we need to add some trigger phrases that we think that users can ask to our Copilot in order to get information regarding Power Platform. Hit edit, and then we can add, for example, what's Power Platform? Then maybe tell me about Power Platform. Next we can add, can you explain about Power Platform? I want information about Power Platform. And finally, maybe one more, explore about Power Platform. Now that we have our trigger phrases, the next step is to add conversation nodes. What are conversation nodes? They help define the path that the conversation takes. So conversation nodes can display messages, ask questions, and also run actions. So if we hit the add node here, we will see that we have a lot of options here. In this case, since we are talking about answering the questions, we will add first send a message. Sure, I can help with that. Now we can add a second message where we can add the definition of the Power Platform. Okay, we have our message here, and also we can add some more stuff in case we want to give some more rich answers. For this example, we will keep it very simple. And now that we have the different tools that we know are part of the Power Platform, we know that there is Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agents. Well, now it's Copilot, but well, in this exercise we have Power Virtual Agents. We will keep the conversation moving. So we can ask a question. Which tool do you want to explore? Then we can add the different options. That way the user knows which options he can pick, and then the Copilot can give answer to that option. So we know that we have Power BI. Now we have Power Apps. We have Power Automate. And finally, we have the Power Virtual Agents. And now something is happening here. You can see Copilot is smart enough to create the different branches, one per option. Now, the only thing that we need to do here is to add information to every branch. So let's add something for Power BI. We add a message and we add information for this one. Now let's add something for Power Apps. Now for Power Automate. And finally, one for Virtual Agents or Copilot. We need to give it a title and save it. And the topic saved. Now we have our structure built. All the branch for this topic is done. And we have this part here, the test Copilot. We can start testing our Copilot. So let's ask a question just to see how it's working. I asked one of the trigger phrases that we have. It's answering what we wanted. And finally, it is giving me which tool do you want to explore. We know that we have Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents. So the user knows that he can pick one of these options here. If I hit Power Apps, then the Copilot will give me the answer that we configure here. And as you can see in this testing, we can see how the Copilot is moving. And it picked this branch because we selected the power-ups option. Go back to topics, and we have our topic here, and it's on. So we are done with the topic, and with this little test we are ready to publish the Copilot if we want. In order to be used, a Copilot needs to be published. In order to publish this Copilot, we can come here, hit publish. Now we can see that the Copilot has not been published yet, and we need to do this before we can use it in any of the channels or also in the demo site that we have for the Copilot. So hit publish. Would you like to continue? Yep. And we are done. Now that it's published, we can go and deploy it to the different channels. If we go to channels, we see that it can be published to Teams, Copilot, and to the demo website maybe, it could be good, and custom websites. Well, a lot of options we have to publish it. I hope that you get fun with this Copilot, and this short video helps you to understand a little bit better what's Copilot, what you can do with Copilot, and how easy it is to create your own copilots, your own assistants, and start building wonderful applications. Thank you for your time, guys. See you next time.